Hey race fans, welcome to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith. This is Shelly Liskey, and I think we got a pretty exciting show today. We got Dynamite Dave Dale from Kistler's and Rick Ferkel, one of our legends for the Legend race, and Brian Sabito, who's usually entertaining, so hopefully he's entertaining today.
Brian.
Yeah. We this weekend we had the Tip and Mull show finally. It was we went in Thursday and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Your family spent the whole weekend there.
We did. We spent a lot of time there. For as much as we had to work on the race car to get it ready, we figured we were going to hang out the whole time.
The car looked awesome, by the way.
Thank you. Stuffed the ballot box. Everybody I saw.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I told them to go down and vote. The box wasn't real visible, apparently, because nobody knew where to vote. So
I didn't know.
Yeah, see, so everybody that came up and said nice car, I walked them down there and told them to go vote for me. So it worked out good. My littlest one got a big trophy. She was all excited.
And you ended up People's Choice?
Yeah, People's Choice. The Racer's Choice was Jim Linder with his Donnie Eckert car. It was
Super cool car.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was a beautiful car. You know, I think there's sound on that, Steven.
There is.
Can you kill that sound? Because we could be in trouble. I forgot to cut that off. There's my daughter right there running by. I had to edit all this stuff today. I forgot about it. I had to go out to Kistler's and take some video for their deal.
Because you were there yesterday and forgot.
Yeah, so I'm thrashing to get all this stuff done. There's a lot of work for this show that I'm not used to doing. But
you do a lot.
Yeah, it's working out good though. My wife made cookies, so that was a big helper, I think, on voting.
She told me she was going to sweeten people up.
Yeah.
I had to eat one. I was starving.
We had a plan. JLH sponsored it this year, so it paid.
I thought that was cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew there was trophies, but you guys actually got a bonus.
Yeah, it was
cash bonus.
Right. It was more than $100 for that deal, so it worked out pretty good. That's my first feature win of the year, I think. So they had a lot of cars. I think they had 11 or 12 sprinters, and they had maybe 11 or 12 vintage cars. Some really neat vintage cars too. There was a Landon Stover vintage car.
That was cool.
Yeah, I'd never expected to see one of those. Really pretty red and silver, number 96. There's Jim's car there. They put a lot of time in that thing and shined up the chrome, and it was just a really nice car.
And the hand painting that Steven did on that, I was, wow.
Right, Steven Linder hand lettered that.
It took some time.
Yep, did a great job. Kai Harper's late model there was the only late model at the show. It was a little disappointing, but that was a great looking car. So.
All in all, though, I was really impressed with the turnout. I know they did that in conjunction with there must be their Relay for Life.
Relay for Life was there Friday and Saturday.
Both days, all 3 days we were over there. Sunday wasn't as busy because they were pretty much winding up, but the crowds were great.
Yeah, and the auction went fantastic, actually. They had Dwayne Hancock from Hoserville, Ohio there told me that they had the most bidders that have ever registered, and I think they were up over $4,000.
I heard that.
And then add that in with the, I think, $1,800 from the Turn 2 party, Kevin Benver's Turn 2 party. They did really well for the Hoserville deal. And then they had a dinner at Shell Shuckers where a percentage of that went.
Did you make it out there?
We did. Camille and I made it out there and had some hot chocolate and threw some peanuts. Yeah, I gave her a camera this weekend. She took all these pictures here, except for that first one, obviously. She was getting all kinds of different angles. She had Dan Hennig kneel down there and take a picture next to the tire. She got you guys.
Yeah, I seen her when we were doing the Dwight Allen deal on Friday night. She was like a little photog standing up there. She was all posed out taking everybody's pictures. It was cute.
Yeah, I was being a fan there too, sitting in that hot rod. She had a low angle shot that the normal photographers wouldn't get. There she is there, but so she had a good time. It really was fun. Met a lot of people. We got a lot of feedback. I did from the show actually, from this show. A lot of people liked it. Nobody came up and told me that we weren't any good, so that was good.
I haven't had that yet either.
No, so let's keep that going.
Maybe they just don't want to tell us to our face.
It could be.
I keep waiting for some bashing on Pitgate or something, but so far so good.
Maybe if we start it, then people get going.
Yeah.
So that went well. People liked the personal aspect of it, is what I heard most. They wanted to hear.
I don't know about you, it's getting easier, I think, for me and even the guests coming in, a little bit more chill.
Yeah. Yeah, the furnace turns off there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the couch is... Where's your pillow at? Did you lose your pillow again?
I got it down
Oh,
there.
okay.
I didn't want Farmer firing me after 3 or 4 short weeks.
Right. So, the other thing we got going on is this weekend is the 3-on-3 tournament finally. Sunday, it's the 30th.
March 30th.
We got that right. 15 teams, and I think we've got 2 or 3 people that have guaranteed they're going to win. So
Oh, at least.
we'll see how that works out.
Had just a team walk in here a few minutes ago before we got ready. They're on their way to go practice. Lindsay and I went down and shot around today. Lindsay shot around. I just chased her balls around for her because I gained 0 basketball genes out of my family. So
Yeah, I got the same. So
yeah, no.
it's going to be entertaining. I can run around real crazy and try real hard, but we'll see what happens. I still haven't met
Me
my
too,
other
but
teammates.
they call that fouling. What I do is always fouling. So I must be a little bit too aggressive.
Well, you're not going to play? What if they need a sub or anything?
No.
No, you sure?
No.
You're not going to sub in for
You
Lindsay?
definitely don't want. It would be like me and Chris Andrews playing together.
Okay.
Chris told you his, basketball athleticism. I'm equal to Chris.
Well,
or
that could be
worse.
entertaining, though, if we have photographers
Oh,
around.
Yeah, definitely entertaining.
Attica Raceway Park was supposed to race this weekend.
Have they
but,
canceled?
they haven't. They were going to make the decision on Wednesday, I thought. But when we were driving here today, it was snowing.
Oh my gosh.
We had like a half an inch of snow earlier today. So eventually it's got to be springtime, right?
Coming here tonight, it looked like we were going on the road, and I said, "Is that snow up there?" And it was just gray. Drove through like a blizzard, got into town. The sun was shining beautiful. It's crazy.
It's going to be 9 degrees or something tonight.
Record low or
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah, I want to get the race car out. We got it ready for the mall show, but we didn't get it for race ready. So I'd like it to get like into the 50s maybe, so I can get it out and fire it up and that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to do it in this.
I don't see Wednesday. I'm optimistic. I hope that they do, but I just don't see Friday. I should say. I just don't see it happening.
They did race at Atomic
They
on
did.
Saturday though.
Seen pictures of the crowd. Looked like they had a good turn. People are just dying to go racing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I think they had 18 or 19 cars,
Yeah.
which it's early. It's earlier for down there, so
Yeah.
it was good to see some cars out on the racetrack anyway.
Definitely.
All right, well, we're going to take our first break today.
I was gonna give a big shout out to my son and Kerry Madsen 29 car picking up their first 2014 World of Outlaw win at Stockton on Saturday. So I'm pretty proud of that for them guys, Tyler
Excellent.
and Christopher and Brandon and Kerry. Hope they can keep it rolling. It's a long schedule, 100 races. but,
Yeah, for sure. Where are they racing next at?
Calistoga maybe Saturday. They're still in California for another couple weeks.
Are they?
I think Calistoga on Saturday.
So he's living it up out there in California.
He's loving it. Last week they were snowboarding. Today he's golfing, and every once in a while, evidently, they must work on the race car every
Yeah.
now and then.
Whatever they're doing right.
They are. I'd like to see that go, but it's a lot easier when you have a 100 race schedule to come out of the gate doing well.
Right.
Of course, they know. We talked last night on the phone, and 100 races is a long time to do well. the
This
whole
is their
year.
second win, too. They got one
Well,
down
they
there.
had an all-star
win
down in Florida, and
Right.
then they picked this one up with a last lap pass of Donnie Schatz. So for me, that's cool.
Can't beat that, yeah.
Not at all.
So today on the show we have Rick Ferkel, the Ohio Traveler, is going to be our first guest. Dave Dale from Kistler Race Products will be our sponsor spotlight, our second guest. And then Brian Sabito, obviously, will be our third guest today. So we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Come on back.
Since I was born, I dreamed of being a Budweiser Clydesdale. Only problem is, I was born a donkey. So all my life, I practiced the Clydesdale walk and the Clydesdale pull. I even tried hair extensions on my lower legs. And then came my big interview. They looked me in the eye and said, "What makes you think you can be a Clydesdale, son?" And what was my answer? I must have said something right.
My job is a daily reminder that you don't always know where life will take you. Good thing Tara helped prepare me to handle anything that might come my way. Tara Community College. Start here, go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith. She's Shelly, this guy, and our first guest tonight is the Ohio Traveler, Rick Ferkel. Still the Ohio Traveler. I see you out all the time working with the younger drivers and and still standing in victory lane as a crew chief. So you haven't slowed down any, I take it.
Well, I think every old dog gets a bone every once in a while, you know. So.
Well, you've had some pretty good drivers out there to help
Yeah,
you
we
do
have.
that.
Yeah,
You
we
won down in Florida this year with a 15-year-old kid.
15-year-old kid,
Yeah,
that's
360.
amazing. Amazing,
Yeah.
you know.
Where do you
Yeah.
find the talent?
Well, actually, Christopher Bell fixed me up with that young kid. You know, he knew him from driving micro sprints. You know, and he said, "Hey, they need some help." He said, "Go down and talk to them." You know, so I did. You know, I was on in a hot second. You know, and we were pretty fortunate to win the feature. You know, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So what are you doing? What are you doing next? Are you going to help that kid out anymore? Are you going to
I'm going to help him
Christopher?
some. In fact, they called the other day and asked about Attica and KC. Of course, Attica's up in the air as far as the weather right now. You know, KC got to run last weekend. Maybe they get to run this weekend too. I don't know. You know, and then for the All-Star show, I'll probably help Wayne Johnson
Okay.
from Knoxville, Illinois, or Knoxville, Iowa. You know,
Right.
and I'll probably help Wayne Johnson at Attica.
That's good. So we were talking out here earlier with Brian Sabito, and we were wondering when the last time was you actually raced, because we have this Legends race coming up at Fremont Speedway that you're one of the drivers in, and the younger guys like us are all excited about that. I mean, we're really looking forward to that, to seeing our heroes racing again. So when was the last time that you actually ran the car?
2002, so that's been a while ago, huh?
Oh, well, that's not as far back as I thought it was, actually.
Actually, that was the Masters race at Knoxville,
Okay.
Iowa, and which we were fortunate enough to win like 3 of those. And I think we ran second in 1 and third in 1 and maybe 6th in 1. You know, so then we got upside down in 1. You know, so but that was the last time I raced. You know. So.
You can get out and go there too, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Fremont's going to be a little different because it's not a get up and go. You got to slow it down some.
Yeah, probably the only thing that has me concerned about Fremont, you know, guys like Mark Keegan, you know, they've been out for like 3 years, you know, and I hear that he's getting in shape, you know, so, and he told me Sunday or Saturday at the mall at Tiffin, he said, I ain't coming to run second, you know, so, and of course Jim Linder, he's pretty excited about it. Well, actually everybody's pretty excited
Yeah.
about it, you know, I think it's going to be sort of cool, you know, just have to hope that our common sense don't outweigh our pride, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause,
It's
know,
cool for me because like you, we talked earlier. I was so young. I can't even remember how young I was, and you were around. So to get to see you do that again for me is way cool. Just really exciting for me to get to see you go back out and do that again.
Well, you know, it seems exciting for me also. You know, it may not be exciting that night. You know, maybe really exciting that night. You know, but you know, of course, there's always questions about it. You know, because it's been quite a while since I've been in a car. You know, the only bad part about it is if you do well. You know, like I said, we run that Legends race at Knoxville. You do well. Man, I better be back into this stuff. You know, well, you know, we don't have no business being back in it. You know, so.
Well, and you're so you mentioned Chris Bell. You've been so much help to the sport and such a great addition in your next role and this role with the sport.
Yeah, I feel pretty fortunate about that. I had an opportunity to work with Chris. You know, in fact, when Chris walked in the door, you looked like he was 12 years old. You know, and I said, "How old are you?" He says, 16. I said, "I was told you were 18." He said, "I never told you that." And I said, "No, I never talked to you." You know, but he was a pretty mature.
He's
16.
a nice kid.
He's a great
those,
kid.
Chris and Rico and Kyle, I once in a while, once the racing season gets started, I'll get to talk with Mike Larson, and they all seem like family. There isn't one time that I speak to one or the other that they're not blowing not themselves. They don't talk themselves up. They talk my buddy Chris. Mike Larson's always telling me, you know, don't overlook Christopher. He's just as good as Kyle, and Chris will tell you, don't overlook Rico. He's just as good as I am. You know,
Yeah,
I
they
love
got a-
that about that
they got a
because you
great
don't see that a
relationship.
whole lot.
Yeah, those three got a really great relationship. And what about Kyle's weekend?
Oh my
Gee,
gosh, was
can you
that
believe
spectacular?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Makes NASCAR exciting again. I mean, it can get to the point
It really
where
does.
it's a sponsored parade, but he's really making it interesting. I'm watching. And I
Me
don't
too,
usually
and I
watch.
haven't the last couple of years. I've just kind of got bored with it, and it become more of a political
Right.
forefront for me, and I just got bored with it. And then once Kyle got back in there, I love watching the kid wheel a race car, and Chris Bell's the same way. He, you know, just
So,
spectacular.
what do you think about? I believe did you start when you were like 27
Yeah, it's 26.
26.
26, and Harry helped a 15-year-old kid in Florida. 15 years old. 15. In fact, I was thinking about that. You know, I was riding bicycles, building little ramps, or jump over the bike over the little ramps. You know, my mom and dad wouldn't let me ride the bicycle on the road.
Right. It's funny how far that. I started driving a bomber when I was 12 years old.
Gee. Well,
So, but it was just strange to think that you started so late, and guys would start a little later. You know, they'd do the military thing and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff before they'd start racing.
actually, if a guy was 18, 19, and was a sprint car driver, you said, "Wow, man, that guy is really young." I mean, it was just that way. You know, it was a different time. You know, and we thought the kid, you know, or we weren't kids, but guys that started at 18, we thought they were really, really young. You know. So.
Now, were you involved with the racing before you got
No.
in as a driver?
No, not at all. You know, actually, you know, I said a couple of times that, you know, I want to be involved in a professional sport, and I actually had a desire to be a professional football player, and like an idiot, I quit school and went to the Marine Corps, so that took care of that. You know, so when I did like racing. I go to the race. I go to Sandusky to watch them on asphalt. You know, and then when I got back out of the Marine Corps, you know, and I got to be involved in some kind of professional sport, and I sort of like racing. So anyhow, it took me a little longer probably than to most guys because I didn't know anything. I had no mechanical ability, you know, so it took me a little longer to get going. Actually, I won my first feature in 3 years, which was at Fremont. That's where I won my first feature. But it was 5 years before we got consistently pretty good. You know.
Did you end up having somebody to like grow with? Did you have a buddy of yours that was there from the beginning?
No, I really didn't. I really didn't. In fact, you know, it sounds sort of crazy, but that's just what we thought at that time. You know, I mean, that was just want to be a race car driver. But I go to the USAC shows, you know. Well, at that time, you couldn't get in the pits. You know, it was just tough. You had to be a member and stuff to get in the pits with USAC, you know. But boy, as soon as the race was over, I'd be the first guy over the wall, you know, get down in the pits. And if White was there, or Hurtubise, or Parnelli, I'd sort of bump into him by on purpose and hope some of that stuff would rub off on me.
Yeah.
That's a fact. I mean, I used to do that. That's how stupid you used to think, you know, but I just thought maybe someone would rub off, you know.
Yeah, well, it must have. So maybe it wasn't that stupid a thing. You turned out pretty good, I think.
We had a pretty good career. Yeah, we did.
So when did you end up having? You have 2 sons, correct?
Yeah.
So when did the family come along and that sort of stuff? You started
Well,
at 27, so
Yeah, actually,
Or 26.
this was Ricky and Tony are my second family. You know, I was married first, and in fact, Shelley knows my daughter Felicia, and Pat. That was my first wife.
okay.
And Shelley actually know Felicia, and of course, then you know how racing is, and we were traveling all over the country. And I have to be honest, it's just sort of
Takes a toll.
yeah, the marriage just went away, you know. But fortunate enough to have a second family and a great wife. Kathy was a great wife. Fortunate enough to have 2 boys, great boys, you know. None of them are race car drivers. I can't believe that. One's a physical trainer. The other's actually got his doctorate degree. He was a professor at Ball State last year. Now he's a assistant superintendent at assistant principal at Reynoldsburg Schools.
Well, Ricky was a race car driver for
Yeah,
a little bit. I know he's got
yeah.
at least one feature win over.
Yeah,
Sharon,
yeah,
correct?
and I think the kid has some potential, you know. But he picked education over race car driving. You know, I always chew him out about that, but I guess it's okay.
It's probably a smart kid.
Yeah,
It's
you're
probably
right.
a smart
You're
choice.
right.
Do you have grandchildren?
Yeah,
grandchildren
yeah,
around?
from Felicia. Well, actually, Tony has a son and a daughter also. That's my oldest son, and then Felicia has 3 daughters, you know, and they have daughters, you know. So I have granddaughters, you know. So
No
or
racers.
great granddaughters.
Great
No
I'm sorry.
racers coming out of there.
No racers. No racers.
Yeah, I know. We talked with Jim Linder there a few weeks ago, and he was talking about his granddaughter and how much he enjoys
The apple
spending
of his
time with just
eye.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I drove by the house yesterday. We went down to the Tiffin Mall show there, and I see it was for sale. Now, are you thinking of going to someplace warmer, or are you?
Well, actually, you know, I got everything up for sale. This will be I'm not going to race this year. I'll probably help some guys, but I'm not going to race this year myself or have a car. And sort of what I'd like to do, I'd like to sell everything, sell the house too, and get a motorhome and just sort of travel around the country.
Traveling some more.
Awesome.
Never stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always said that's what I wanted to do, just get a motorhome when it was my time, and I could just go to any racetrack. Of course, I always have a racetrack in mind, but you could go to any racetrack
Yeah.
you wanted, stay a couple days.
Well, you can always stop and see friends, and you've
Yeah.
met so many people, you know, over the years, you know, all across the United States, you know, stop in and see them. It'd just be sort of neat to do that, I think, you know.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah.
And you got an awesome wife to do that with. I always have to bring up the wife aspect because I'm the female on this panel, and I know Kathy's been a great addition to your life. She is, if you don't know Kathy, she's just a spectacular woman, and she supports, she follows you around, and does, you know, she's just a great addition to you.
Yeah, she's been a tremendous asset. You know, and one of the things that people probably don't know, you know, is Kathy. The other way that Kathy was a big asset to my profession was she'd take times. You know, now they do them on transponders and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, at that time they didn't have those, so she'd keep track of what the heat race times were. You know, as far as how the racetrack was slowing down. You know, and I wouldn't even have to go up and look at the track. She'd come back and tell me if it's slowing down a second or half second or 3 seconds or whatever. And if it's slowing down 2-3 seconds, you better be changing
Yep.
the car. You know, and if it's slowing down a half second, you don't change the car that much. So she was really an asset in that respect. You know, probably one more features than we'll ever know. You know, so.
Yep. I always like to bring the wives or the women aspect into it, because I know they do a lot, and when you're out traveling down the road and stuff, it makes it a lot easier when you have someone supportive with you
It
to
sure
help
does.
you with those
It
things.
sure does, yeah.
So my kudos to Kathy.
So,
you.
what kind of things do you do other than racing? I mean, obviously you're involved with that quite a bit. Now that if you're selling out, so the zero car won't be out there. What kind of other things do you enjoy doing?
Well, actually, I can't say enjoy it, but that's what I do. During the winter, I cut wood. You know, I heat about 95% with wood, so I spend quite a bit of time cutting wood. It's a pretty full-time job. You know, I cut by myself, and it's a pretty full-time job. You know, especially the winter that we had this year. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
used a lot of wood. You know.
Kathy likes to be warm, I would assume.
Yeah,
So
yes, she
spend most of
does.
the time.
Likes to be cool in the summer,
It's a
warm in
girl
the winter.
thing. We
Yeah.
like to stay warm.
Enjoy sports on TV. Other than that, I don't enjoy too much TV. You know, do watch a lot of NASCAR. Used to hate NASCAR. Used to hate it. You know, of course, we used to always race on Sundays. You know, we race Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and sometimes midweek shows. You know, and so we never paid much attention to NASCAR. I mean, they were just, you know, well, they were just taxi cabs as far as we was concerned. You know, and anyhow, so then we quit racing on Sundays. And after church, you come home and I'd turn on TV and the NASCAR race would go. And actually got where I enjoy NASCAR now. I really do. You know, so. But it's racing, you know, so I enjoy racing.
Right. It's a good time to take a nap.
Yeah, well, that happens about midway through.
Yeah.
Although I have missed the ending of a couple of them.
Yeah, I know I got a chance to drive your car last year, and then on Sunday you guys went to race somewhere else, and I came over, and you and I forget who was helping you, but you had looked like you had just woken up because the NASCAR race was on, and you came outside when I knocked on the door, so I know you were enjoying a nap with that.
Speaking of that, Brian, I enjoyed having you. You know, I thought you did a great job at Attica to make that all-star feature. You know, never being in the car and stuff. You know, and actually a few things that you liked and disliked actually sort of changed my thinking on some of my setups that I do for local drivers. You know, and so I enjoyed that.
Well, I appreciate it. It was a big thrill of mine. I've been fortunate enough to drive Bob Hampshire's car at Eldora and then your car at Eldora, or at Attica. So that's a pretty complete career for a local guy like me. So I was pretty excited about that. But, so you mentioned you like sports. You know, I remember there was a time Ricky must have been playing like some kind of rec league ball or something. And I remember you and Kathy coming into our Fremont Rec Center down here to watch him play basketball, and I was running on the track or something. I just thought that was the coolest thing to see Rick Ferkel walk into the rec center. You know, to me, you're still an idol. You know, you're still a hero as far as a race car driver goes. So that was neat to see you at my local rec center like that.
Actually, at that time, Rex Lejeune had a ball team, you know, and he contacted Ricky. Was pretty good basketball. He's a pretty good football player too, and he contacted him about playing on the team there, and we always enjoyed watching the boys play sports, you know, and so you know we sort of supported that all the time too, you know, and they had a pretty good year that year with their men's league.
Rex was a pretty good basketball
Yes,
player.
he was. As a good point guard. Good
Yes.
point guard.
What sort of sports teams do you watch now? I mean, do you have a favorite pro team of any kind?
Well, football. You know, I like football the best. You know, I mean, I watch I don't like pro basketball at all. I have watched the you know, the NCAA championship, which is on now. You know, I don't really watch it at the beginning. I'm sort of watching it now because it's down to Sweet 16. You know, and but more of a football fan than basketball fan. But I mean, baseball I don't care for at all. You know. So.
Yeah. A Browns fan or Bengals
pretty hard to
fan?
be a Browns fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking the
Yeah,
same.
it's hard to be a Browns fan. You know.
So you might be, but you're not going to admit it. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
understandable.
Like the New
Closet
England
fan.
Patriots, you know, like the Patriots, you know, of course, like Denver because Peyton Manning's there, you know, but pretty hard to be a Browns fan, you know.
Yeah.
Although I'm anxious to see that movie that's coming out. Have you seen that or seen any? any advertising for the movie that's coming out about?
Draft Day?
Yeah, Draft
I am
Day.
so anxious to
I
see
am
with
too.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I seen it previewed, and now they're starting to show. It must be coming out in the next couple weeks. It looks really good.
And it's supposed to be about the Browns, you know. That's
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
seen
had heard
Kevin
about-
Costner, and that's as far as I got.
She knew she
Yeah,
was gonna
right.
watch it then. I hadn't seen previews yet, but I had heard that it was coming out. So
Yeah,
that's
it looks real
interesting.
good.
Yeah. So I mean, we're like I told you before we were talking, we're trying to find a little more personal things out about our drivers and our legends, obviously, that people don't normally know. So that kind of thing with the basketball and that sort of stuff is interesting to people we've found. They've given us comments and stuff that they like that sort of thing. So appreciate you coming in and letting us know that sort of stuff.
Well, thank you. We enjoyed being here, you know. So.
I noticed that Kathy dropped him off, basically, and then she had to run some errands.
Oh, did she? I
Yeah,
didn't see her leave.
I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah,
She's
go ahead,
not doing
Rick.
much shopping in Fremont, so she must be visiting because there's not a
I
whole
think she
lot.
went to Walmart. you know,
Okay,
yeah.
that's about your only option in Fremont.
You go ahead and do your deal, Rick, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go shopping. So.
Yeah, Shelley, your dad and I got together. He didn't have a car, and I didn't have a motor. I'm sorry, the other way around. He didn't have a motor, and I didn't have a car. I sort of tore up all my cars, so we got together, and that was probably one of the greatest years I ever had. And we talked so much going up and down the road. He'd motivate my thoughts, and I'd motivate his thoughts, and he had an old Charlie Outfielder car, and we had tremendous success with that. And we shouldn't have been going to places that we went. Of course, we didn't know no better than that, And so, we go to Williams Grove and places like that. We go to Knoxville to the Nationals and stuff like that. And really, really fast,
I found this article about that. My dad never talked much about himself in racing, but I knew he had a real close connection with you, and that story was in this article, and I thought it was cool because Rick's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, he really, really had some ideas that really, like I say, motivated my thoughts and changed my thinking about some things. And
He was a thinker.
yes, he was. Yeah, he loved to think about them
Yeah,
things.
we used to tease him because he would stand and just stare at the car for what seemed like hours. He would just stand there, and I'd say, "What are you doing?" And he'd go, "Oh, I'm just thinking." He was just constantly thinking. He never was not a man of many words. He wasn't a real big talker, but he was definitely a thinker.
So did you have any kind of preference on sorts of racetracks when you started, and did it change any as you got going, or?
I hate to say this because this is Fremont Speedway, being sponsored by Fremont Speedway. I used to hate Fremont Speedway. I used to hate it.
No, this is good stuff. That's what we want to hear.
Well, it was really, really slick, and we weren't young, but we was young for that time. I was 26, which really wasn't young, but had a pretty heavy foot, and that just didn't work at Fremont. I don't think anybody ever spun out more than I did at Fremont, and we just constantly spun out. So we actually quit coming to Fremont, went to Lima, because Lima actually ran the same nights, and we go to Findlay too, and on Sundays. And we was really, really good at Lima. We got really good there, but that was a high bank and had a little more moisture in it. But then later in our career, then we came back to Fremont, and it got where we were pretty good at Fremont.
So weren't you one of the first guys to have the big drag tires on the right rear, though?
Yeah.
And that wouldn't work at Fremont on the slick?
I don't know. I don't know if we ever tried it at Fremont at that time. I know we tried it we didn't try it. We ran it. It was really fast at Millstream. At Lima too. And we were the first guy that took that thing out to California, out to the Pacific Coast Championship, which is Ascot Park, which is there no more. And it's sort of ironic, but went out for hot laps. Well, first Don Peabody, who got killed in a crash on the way to Indy. He was an Indy. Him and several of the other Indy officials for the Indianapolis 500, they got killed in an airplane crash going back there. But anyhow, he was the president of CRA, California Racing Association. And when we went to Ascot, the first time I was at Ascot there, he came over and said, "Rick," he says, "I think you need to buy some Ascot diggers." I said, "I don't think that tire will work here, And we had the M&H Racemaster, which I was a drag tire at that time.
Is that the tire that was on Jim Linder's car, similar to that one?
I didn't even look at the tire on the right
Okay,
rear.
'cause I believe that's what that was on the right rear of that.
I didn't look at the tire on the right rear. I looked at the car. The car was beautiful,
Yeah.
just beautiful. But anyhow, the Ascot Digger was like a 6-inch wide tire, maybe 7-inch wide, and maybe 80 inches circumference. I don't even know if it was 80 inches.
Small.
Yeah,
real small.
And they thought these things really worked there, When they dropped the grid, it's going to sound really like you're bragging or it couldn't have been true, but it is true, Paul Jones, Parnelli Jones was a brother. He was running at that time, he was supposed to be pretty good. And they dropped the green flag for hot laps. And I thought, these guys didn't see the green flag. You know, I didn't realize. I mean, the way they were going, I thought they didn't see the green flag. I mean, we were so much faster with that drag, Tara. It was unreal. Of course, we went back then we won it then in '73 and Pacific Coast Championship. We had been back in '74, and they all had them that year.
Yeah.
So.
It didn't take monkey see, monkey
Yeah,
do. It's
yeah,
the same
so-
today, and you know somebody
Yeah,
gets
so-
fast with one thing, everybody's got to have it soon. Now you mentioned Indianapolis. Did you have any aspirations to make it to
Well,
Indianapolis?
when we got started, Brian, you know, that was our goal. You know, go to Indy. You know, nobody thought about NASCAR at that time as far as sprint car drivers, open wheel drivers, the stock car guys were stock car guys. You know, and that was our goal. You know, and I was a big hurry to get to Indianapolis. Well, it never happened, but and maybe I was pretty aggressive when I was younger and didn't have much experience, and so was sort of dumb as far as a race car driver. So I probably caused a lot of trouble. You know, a lot of people didn't like me very well, you know, because we did create quite a few problems on the racetrack. You know, but you know, we were in a big hurry. We thought we was going to get to Indianapolis, and we never did. Which I don't feel my career was incomplete because we didn't, but we would have liked to go on to Indy. You know,
Yeah.
and we were right at the end of that era where you could get there on ability. You didn't have to have a big suitcase full of money. You could still get there on ability, and which we didn't get that opportunity. But
Do you still follow it? Is it?
probably follow NASCAR more than I do that. You know.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. I mean, they have very few American drivers anymore. They're all
Right.
foreign drivers, you know. So, and mostly all foreign or with sports car experience, rather than oval track experience, you know. So, no, we don't follow it too much, you know. A little bit, but not a whole lot.
I think the dirt car guys are keeping NASCAR in business these days.
That's true.
Those are the
Although
best
I
ones.
don't like it because I like to see Kyle Larson and those guys race around here, and they're just snatching them up quicker than we can keep them around.
You know, you got a good point there, Shelley. I mean, Steve Kinser's records will probably never ever be broken. But one of the reasons that well, maybe they never would be anyhow, but there's no chance they ever have break because guys like Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and people like that, I mean, they're going to be gone. I mean, they
Yeah.
aren't going to get to run sprint cars long
No.
enough to ever break them kind of records.
I knew last year when Kyle was up this way, I knew he wasn't going to be around
No,
long. And you know, there's so many different things. Like back in your day, those boys now have coaches and you know people, mentors, and everybody to help them to do and say the right things
Right.
and get to the right
Yeah.
places and not cause problems on the racetrack. Although when you watch Chris and Kyle race, I don't know that they're thinking about not causing problems because those boys put race cars where
Yes, they do.
I mean, they're
Yes,
just
they
not
do.
supposed to
Yeah.
be sometimes.
Yeah.
I watch them and I'm mesmerized by them. I love what they do with a race car. But unfortunately, we're not going to have them around too long.
No,
I don't look
no,
for
no.
Chris Bell to be around
No, I
too
don't
long.
either. I don't either. You know. We was hoping that we would have him at least 1 year longer, and we lost him within a half a year. We lost him, you know. Yeah, which yeah, I don't regret it. I'm happy for him. You know, I'm not happy for me, but I'm happy
Yeah.
for him. You know, because those people that he's with now, Keith Coons and Pete Willoughby, I mean, they can take him places that I would have never been able to take him. You know, so I'm pretty happy for him, and I just hope they don't wait too long. You know, I watch a K&N series and I watch a Nationwide series and the truck series. They got a bunch of 19-year-old, 18-year-old guys. I mean, he just needs to get down there. you
Yeah.
know. He needs to get there.
I agree. Even though, like I said, I hate to lose them, but
Yeah,
we're
me
not
too.
going to be able to keep them around. I don't
Yeah.
think.
So,
All right. Well, Rick, like I said, I really appreciate you coming in. We passed on the having a ball with art, but I appreciate your autograph on
I
our
do
card
have
here.
a question. If you want to pick one, some people emailed some stuff in. I don't know if you just want me to pick one
yeah, go
here.
ahead.
Let's
So this
see
person's
here.
gonna win
They're
a
gonna
free
win
general
a-
admission to Fremont
yes.
Speedway when we open.
This comes from Terry Glick, and he wants to know what were the years of your first win and your last win, and how many total wins did you have throughout your career?
65 was my first. 68. I'm sorry. 68 was my first win, which was at Fremont. First feature win. We won a B main or Consi, whatever they called them at that time. Some call them Consi, some call
Yeah.
them B main. We did one. And it was on trophy night, and so we got a trophy. That was the first race I ever won, which was at Fremont. And then we won our first feature at Fremont, which was in
So
'68.
Fremont wasn't that bad to you.
No, I guess not. I mean, we just had a tough time not spinning all year.
My dad always told me that Fremont was like two different racetracks. You could cut it in half, and one end would do one thing, and the other would do another, and it was really hard to try to figure out how to get them to mesh with what you were doing.
Well, it definitely was an animal of its own, you know. So anyhow, '68 then was our first feature win. What was the rest of the question?
Oh, last
how many?
win.
The last
How
one,
many?
and how many?
The last win would have been I actually can't tell you when my last feature win other than Knoxville. My last feature win, which would have been the Masters race, would have been in probably 2000. And number of wins, we weren't much of a statistician, but
None
at
of you
least-
guys were back
No,
then.
it, we thought we'd race forever.
Yeah.
You never thought about that because
You just needed to race and win and get to the
Yeah.
next track.
Yeah.
Jim
you're right.
Linder didn't know the other night. I don't think he has a count of how many
Well,
accurately. What,
Yeah, we're over 300.
yeah, that's awesome.
Over 300, under 500, somewhere in that area. So, in fact, sometimes when I get talking to younger guys, to the track, and they'll say something about this and something about that. I say, man, I've won more features than races you've ever ran. Not won, but ever
Yeah.
ran.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to go. We've had a great talk. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is why we don't worry about having breaks and stuff. But we do have two other guests that are. that
Okay,
are
well, I'm
coming
sorry
on
to
today.
hold you up.
Oh,
No, you did not hold us up at all.
all.
We really appreciate it, and thanks for coming on this
Thank
long.
you.
So we'll go to break here, and then we'll let you get out. Stephen, go ahead and send us to the commercial, and we'll be right back.
Thanks.
Need some cash? The Hillside Pawn Shop, 503 West State Street in downtown Fremont can help. The Hillside Pawn Shop buys, sells, or trades gold, silver, coins, guns, toys, jewelry, and much, much more. Turn your old treasures into cash now. The Hillside Pawn Shop is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. Call 419-307-8768. That's 419-307-8768. Hillside Pawn Shop in Fremont. Buy, sell, trade. Pawnbroker license PV.100620.000.
Cardiology, I don't have a heart. Pulmonary doctor, no cigar. I can't diagnose a simple cold or flu, but if your engine's got a cough, I know what to do. Give it 6 of these and wash it down with this. A new air filter ought to help it catch its breath. Now but know how. But know how.
Welcome back to the Last Lap Live. Man, that was awesome having Rick Ferkel
That
on here.
was.
He's a huge legend in this area, obviously. And then when I did get a chance to drive his car, it was
I
just
can't
it
even
was like a
imagine.
dream come
'cause,
true.
I mean, we're close to this, being around the track about the same, right?
Yeah,
And
probably.
he's a legend.
Pretty close,
I
yeah.
mean, when Rick Ferkel's in the house, you know he's in the house. He's just that guy.
Yeah, exactly. So humble and just
Always.
nice and remembers
I was
so
just telling
much. And
Steve when he talks about causing problems on the racetrack, I just can't fathom it because he's always been such a soft-spoken,
right.
just great all-around guy. So I can't imagine him causing trouble at the racetrack.
So are you comfortable, Dave?
Yes,
That's
I
good.
like this.
You like the couch?
Yeah.
You don't get a pillow. You just got to lean on the ones here. I don't know if we're going to make you uncomfortable or not, because we know that you were good friends, or you are good friends with Brian Paulus. So
Yes.
he had a question. He doesn't have to have a general admission
Okay.
ticket. I'm
We'll
not
look
sure
him
if
up
he's
if
going
he
to make
does.
it. Yeah. He might make it over for the outlaw race. We have an outlaw race at the end of the year, right?
Last, second to last race.
Yeah, so he might make it over for that. So then you can give him the business then.
Yeah.
But because the one at Attica seems to get rained out all the time. Hopefully
Does
not this
seem
year. But so Dale is the operator of Kistler Race Products. Is
With
that-
Brian Kavanaugh.
With
yes.
Brian Kavanaugh. You guys work together.
Yes.
And speed shop just north of town here, connected to Kistler Racing Engines.
Yes.
So all under the same roof. Go ahead and run that Kistler for me, Stephen. And there's a look at the business there. They can't see us right now. They're watching this. So if you wanted to explain anything there's a couple buildings.
Oh,
You don't have to, but I just went out there today and we got to take some footage of the place so that people would have an idea of.
that would be our showroom right there. Our show car that we made for the open house.
And how long have you been in business out there as Kistler Race
This
Products?
would be going on, I think it's our 7th year. And let's see, in February 1st of 2008 is when we actually got the idea of doing it with Brian coming on. Just panned out that everything was going to work out, that we could have this side of it. And I think it's the only speed shop, engine shop combination in the country, so it's kind of neat that, it's something that we can offer that no one else can right now. You're looking at the cars that we stock there, running our shock dyno. If a customer has a problem on a Friday night, I take it in, just check it for them on Saturday to make sure it's okay, and bring it back to Fremont. There's our torsion bar dyno. Same thing. You know, if someone gets in a crash and wants me to check out something on a Friday night and bring it back to the track on Saturday, we try to turn it around as quick as we can. Just all the different fittings that we had to have. I could have that whole cabinet in the parts truck, and at times I feel like I don't even have the right fitting. So
Yeah.
you know, we try to stock MPD bars as you know, as much as we can. Fiberglass panels that guys need. You know, it comes in handy for during the season when you can't fix it. You know, it just
Right.
got to come out and get it real quick.
So what product lines do you run out there? What cars do you sell, and wheels and that sort of stuff?
J&J chassis, GF1 chassis. We do have an Eagle chassis in the showroom. We sell Weld wheels, Fuel Safe, Winters Performance products, TI-22, FSR radiators. I mean, XRP fittings, and Hoosier obviously right there. They're you know, probably our top one. Every week it seems like we're unloading tires.
Yeah.
And we're just getting ready.
And now Brian's out there too, which is just a wealth of knowledge when
Yes.
people.
I can honestly say when we started, I had helped, you know, Caleb Griffith and some different guys, and like the hammers and that, and they taught me a lot. But just the amount of different things that you need to know as far as drive shaft lengths for the different, you know, 40-inch cars or 41-inch cars, the things that you just have to know off the top of your head. He has taught me all that, so that hey, if someone texts me or something on a Sunday, you know, what length do I need for a 40-inch car? Well, you need this for your torque tube length. You need this for your drive shaft. He has helped me out a ton. I have learned
So what I just
That's
learned
helpful.
was that if I need to text you on a Sunday, so you might not want to say that because now people will be texting you all hours of the day.
it
all day of the
happens.
week.
It happens. You know, a guy will crash on let's say Saturday, and he'll be putting something together on Sunday, and it you know, it happens, and we're here to, you know, help out everyone that we can. You know,
It's great that you're open like that, so that guys that are really in a pinch can get a hold of you and do that.
I had a customer tell me one time that if you want to be successful, you need to be either there at the business 7 days a week or be available 7 days a week. And I feel that between Brian and I, we both try to be there for our customers.
And let's face it, racing isn't the most, you know, logical Monday through Friday,
Right,
9
it's
to
not a
5
nine
kind
to
of deal.
And you know, Paul's the same way. If there's a customer that has an issue over the weekend, you know, everyone knows who to get a hold of on a Sunday. And you know, we want to, you know, do it on our Sundays? Not all the time, but it might be that we miss a phone call or something, and we call you back or text you back. I mean, you know, it's just part of it.
And it means a lot, you know, people will keep coming back, and
Yeah.
because there's other places, you know,
Yes.
online stuff now is getting big, but I think people like the more personal attention you're able to give them by doing it. You know, we were just having this conversation about people who call at least once a week to ask, you know, Sunday or 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, wanting to know how big their cooler can be to bring
Yeah.
beer into the racetrack
Yeah.
or something. You know?
It's those simple things that, you know, I think it means a lot to our customers. I mean, there are, I would say, catalog speed shops out there, and then there's speed shops like ours that, you know, I feel like Brian offers a lot of customer service, and you know, I'm getting to that point of, I feel that there are customers that call and say, hey, and I need help with this, and they have enough confidence in me to give them the correct answer. So I mean, that's been.
Did you grow up around racing, or?
Let's see. It basically, my parents divorced, and then my mom met Paul through Gary Griff and his wife, and Paul has definitely taken me under his wing. I appreciate everything he's ever done for me. I can honestly say that guy has bent over backwards for me, and I'm kind of speechless about that, because it's not only just the investment in the business, it's
The family.
the family. You know, he has bent over backwards for me. You know, I have a house now, and we don't get to work on it during the summertime a whole lot, but you know, it's fun in the fall. Like this past fall, Tom and Paul helped me out with just cleaning up around the property. You know, I bought this house, and we had some trees and stuff that needed to be done, and you know, we all know that racing season isn't the best time to try to do them kind of
Do
things.
anything.
But yeah, but I tell you what, this fall.
My wife right now is nodding her head at home watching this. Yeah, exactly.
I'd say I'm in the same boat as a driver because stuff just doesn't get done during the summertime a whole lot. And
well, you've got all the drivers leaning on you, so it's worse than just one driver.
yeah. So I mean, and then how I basically ended up going to the racetrack was between Caleb. The 1 year I had a surgery and I wasn't going to the racetrack a whole lot. And 1 year Paul said, "Hey, I want you to go over to Caleb's and see his car." And Caleb and his dad and Gary had put my name on the race car under the crew, and I started going back to the racetrack with them. And then
it gave you that personalized.
yeah, you know, and Caleb and I, heck, between Chris Andrews and Caleb, those were the only two racers I knew coming from the Sandusky area, and that, you know, those two, that's who I grew up with. And then Randy Hammer and Aaron and that was that was fun. I mean, 2006, when they got back into racing with Rob Cheney, them guys, they took me under the wing too. There's some good times with Kyle Myers, who now works for us, and Timmy P, and everyone knows the Hammer crew, but there's some fun times with them guys, and they taught me a lot too. So
I know in just the last couple of years, your role at the racetrack is just, you've just exploded in that role, and people depend on you being there, and they come to you. And
yeah, I mean, I'll be the first one to say, I can honestly say, if you had to rely on one parts truck to be there, there's times that guys wouldn't make it on the racetrack, because if the other parts truck doesn't have it, I may have it, or vice versa. And you know, it's nice that we just seem to make it all work for the racer. And
right, we're very blessed in this area to have businesses like that, like yours, that are there no matter what, whenever people need you, whether it be Kistler or it be Kears or it be Gressman's or
I think
whatever.
a lot of it, for me, I think a lot of it boils down to is we're all family somehow, you know.
Exactly.
I talk a lot about my kid who just went out on the road, and there's no family out there like that. He said, I know his first couple, you know, where we can all sit here and BS and go to the racetrack. If you need help or you need help, there's always family to step up and help. And Christopher says you don't get that out on the road. It's all business when you're there. There's no, like we have it here.
The one thing I will say about, and just from being with Brian Pauls, that I did it for like 2 or 3 weeks at different times, you learn what teams have your back. Like if you have a problem on the racetrack, the ones that are going to help you put the car back together, there's teams that do that, but not as far as the family atmosphere or anything like that. I mean, you're basically by yourself. I mean, there was times when I was with Brian, and heck, the first week I'm pumped up, ready to go, and then they said by the time Eldora rolled back around, I'm like, I'm ready to go home, dragging, just beat up. And
it does, it just emotionally and mentally just beats you up, because you don't have that support system that you have around here.
Yes, and one thing about Christopher, he is working with Tyler Swank, and I've gotten to know Tyler because of the gravel, and then he worked with Jessica Zemkin before that.
Great guy.
And Tyler is awesome. So
he is. He's not that blow himself up guy.
Yeah.
He's very,
like the photo of them in Victory Lane.
with the no smile.
Yeah, there's just it's just Tyler. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get cocky. He's
I've
a
never
wonderful
once
guy.
seen Tyler.
I
feel fortunate and blessed that that's who Christopher got with the
Yes.
first time out, because I think that Tyler has their back, and he's not a look at me guy.
Yeah,
It's all about me guy. So
He is, just from getting to, basically be around him all the time, from, the All-Star deals and that. Tyler's a great guy. I mean, there's so many neat people that you get to meet because of the situation that I'm in. Ray Evernham, he comes to mind. It's one of the coolest people I've ever met, and just treating you like you were somebody to him, and like he's at the shop and just automatically thinking about how he can change a sprint car around, and you just get to meet a lot of people.
That's what you were telling me earlier today when I was out there shooting that video, that all the people that come in there, and it's one of the coolest things, is you get to meet everybody, because everybody needs to go to the speech
you don't have the opportunity not to like your job. Some people, go to work every day just dreading going
Yeah,
to work
I mean,
and hating what you do. But
it-
every day you have something different.
It's got its ups and downs, but I
Yeah.
will say that there's more ups than downs definitely, and getting to work with Brian Kemmel. I mean, like I told you the other day, Donnie Schatz is the only other person that can say that he's working with a Knoxville Nationals winning crew chief in the last, I think, 7 or 8 years. So, I mean, that's something that's pretty cool. I mean, our engines are the only other engines that have won the Knoxville Nationals in the last 7 or 8 years, besides Donnie. So, I mean, that's the cool side of it, is that we have something in this area that goes out and wins one of the biggest races. And yeah, it was a few years ago, but I mean, they're always trying. That's the one race that everyone's trying to win.
I get to have some engine talk with Paul down in Florida. I never knew there was such a thing, and I've been around hearing you guys, all you men, talk about this stuff for a long time. Too good of air.
Yes.
Paul had this. Paul's standing there and he's telling, because I was like, oh my gosh, what's up with all these motors? Because they were like just clicking them off like that. And Paul says, well, the air's too good down here, and he actually took the time to explain that to me, because I wasn't aware of the fact that there was too good of air.
And there's a little thing that it's a weather station. It looks like
Yeah.
a little computer, and it's got a little fan on the inside of it, and it does a sample of the air, and then you look at your ADR and all that, and
I've seen the weather stations.
yeah.
I knew they were there, but I didn't know there was
yes.
too good of air.
And it's neat because, like, I've gotten to learn the engine side of things too, and as far as people ordering up parts on that side, because we try to, we do sell to, like, Australia. We'll do a lot of orders on engine parts to motors that got sold over there from other customers. So they'll call up and say, we need rings, bearings, and this and that. And the one thing about the motors, everyone is different. Like, there's not a standard part. You call up and you want a set of bird cages. Well, I know what you want. And then someone else calls, and just on the motor side, it's like, well, they want push rods. Well, what length? What pistons? And it's so difficult on that side. So, Paul and Mike and them on the engine side, they've helped me with it. And I don't want to try to know it all on that side, because it is very, very confusing.
So besides you, Brian, and Paul, how many employees you got out there now?
I'm going to sound stupid here, because I'm just going to name off. We have Doug Freeman, Chuck Coleman, Kyle Myers, Tom Kistler, and Mike Freeman, and then
Paul Kistler's out there too.
yes,
Paul.
yes.
I don't know how I forgot Kyle.
we cannot forget about my mother.
You're
Yes.
definitely.
Now, did you get them all? Because if you didn't get them all, they're going to
Yes.
see it live here, and
Yes.
then you're going to hear about it tomorrow. So,
I think I covered it. So
all right, that's good. Now, I talked to you yesterday because I came out to pay on the bill, and
Oh.
I asked you, since
That part.
you were out on the road with Brian Paulus.
oh boy.
So, and I asked you if I could ask Paulus about any dirt on you, and your face turned bright red immediately. If you don't know Brian Paulus, he is one of the funniest people in sprint car racing, I'll tell you that, and also one of the nicest guys with the biggest hearts. But he gave me only G-rated stuff, so you don't have to be too
Okay.
worried about that. He wanted to know if you'd ever met a dog named Goober in your travels to
Oh
Williams
boy.
Grove.
Goober would be the dog that used to stay, I think it was at Silver Springs.
Silver, that's what he told me.
And now Silver Springs is no longer there because they made it like into a Walmart or something. But Silver Springs was a racetrack that was behind this campgrounds and all this stuff. And they always told me that if you didn't walk sideways through the shop, that Goober would come basically attack you. So from day one,
You walk sideways.
they'd say, "Hey, go get a part out of the trailer." I'd walk sideways through the shop because, I was scared to death of this dog. I mean, it was huge, and just from day one, I have always, just always walked sideways through the shop. And then we leave, and we never had to go back to Silver Springs during this trip. And Brian, or one of the guys said, Goober's the nicest dog out there. He would have never done anything to you. And it's like, wow, I walked sideways through the shop the whole time that we were there.
Because I called him then. I sent him a text about that, and he sent me that. So I called him to get the backstory on it. And he told me that you were walking sideways, and he thought you were just putting him on. But then nobody was looking. You didn't know anybody was looking, and you were still walking sideways.
Yeah.
And so then they thought it was pretty funny. But I got there. Kyle gave me a couple questions to ask you too. Kyle Myers out there. He's not going to get general admission either. And I don't know what these mean, but he wants to know if you get car sick. And so this must be good. And then he wants to know why peanut butter is your favorite food.
Oh, here we go.
Are these G-rated too? Because I didn't talk to Kyle about these.
The whole car sick thing is about my 25th birthday.
Right now, Kyle is
So,
dying laughing.
Yes.
Anything birthday related, we probably can fill in the pizza.
Yes. So let's just say I had fun on my 25th birthday, and who actually has
Had a little
like
bit of car
a lot of credit for
There's
taking care of
Facebook
that.
pictures somewhere. I'm sure there
And
is.
then the whole peanut butter thing is because
Do we want to know this?
the whole thing of yeah, Travis. Let's just put it that way.
That can't be good.
Yeah.
Travis
But-
Philo.
Yes.
His partner in crime.
Yeah. But
But we need to get Travis on here then.
that would be
We'll get the real story
yeah.
about that. Now, how comfortable is the couch now?
It's still warm, right?
Is it okay? A little warmer in here
Yeah.
though, maybe?
I didn't
But-
get a chance to talk to Kyle. We went into the Mexican restaurant there at the mall, and we go walking in, and Kyle's yelling, "Call me, call me!
I'm
I got
glad
some
you did.
stuff for you."
I'm
But he
glad-
didn't give me his number, so
That's good because
So you
who
pretty
knows?
much got let off the hook today. So
Yes.
you're in good shape. All right, well, Dave, I want to thank you for coming in. Hopefully we didn't make you too uncomfortable. We learned a lot about Kistler Race Products, and they're one of the people that I deal with, along with Kears and Gressman, obviously. But
I see you got your
They,
Kistler
Yes.
products, and I think
Yeah.
that we will have possibly Kistler product apparel
Yes,
at
that
Fremont
is
Speedway
the
for
goal.
sale this
Is
year.
to get engine shirts and racing products into a trailer because that's something that we need. Because for me to have merchandise on the truck, yeah, we have it throughout the pits, but then the fans that are up in the stands,
They don't get the opportunity.
yeah, they don't get the opportunity, or it's just something difficult that
I'm
you,
looking
that
forward
you
to
have
it. We
to
got
deal
a
with.
new booth up there. I'm looking forward to having your stuff up there.
and those shirts are done by Tear Off Apparel, which
Yes.
is Brian Paulus's business, correct?
Yes, and Brian, if anyone ever needs anything from him, he's very good at getting back with you, and he's not he does do big quantity orders, but he will work with you on
He does nice
on whatever
stuff.
needs you need.
Yeah.
So
He did my shirts last year that turned out great.
Yeah, I think he does really nice
And
stuff.
he does a lot of stuff around here actually. So that's tearofapparel.com if you're interested. Not a sponsor, but I will throw that out there because Brian's a friend of mine too. So, all right, well we're gonna take another break and we're gonna come back with Brian Sabito. Dave, I really appreciate you.
No
coming in.
problem.
Thank you very much. So Stephen, go ahead and take us to break. We'll be right back.
Is it possible Applebee's new entrees are full of flavor and under 550 calories each?
I'll believe it when I taste it. I believe it.
I can dig it! Okay, a bit of an overreaction, but what now? The old great taste under 550 calories flash mob hit. Yeesh. The new Zesty Roma chicken and shrimp and roasted garlic sirloin. Big flavor under 550 calories. Starting at just $9.99. See you tomorrow. And late night for half-price apps.
Hey, welcome back to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith. She's Shelly This Guy, and if you can see him through the glare of his head here, that's Brian Sabito.
That's why he keeps a hat on his head.
Yeah, I keep my head on because otherwise we're going to be in big trouble. Brian List guy is going to be on us if we wore. Yeah, shave your head, maybe Sinead O'Connor type of deal.
No.
No.
I usually always have a hat on, so it's pretty rare that I don't.
He's
So
worn
you
a
dressed
different
up to
one
come
every
here?
week.
Well, I have to dress up for my new job. This is kind of dressed up.
Your
I
new
guess
job.
my new
You
job.
lead
But I
right
can't.
into it.
I can't wear a hat there. So
Your new job with your new car owner. Right?
yes, yep. Working at I work for Buckeye Machine as well as drive his race car. So
That's
That-
cool.
Recent. You headed to Florida with that deal, correctly?
Yeah.
Correct.
Had a spectacular time down there, you guys.
yeah, we had a really good East Bay trip, Winter Nationals down there. Other than the feature on Saturday night, which I take 100% blame on that, but I always like making the calls on setup stuff. Just so for that reason right there, when I'm when the car's off and we go backwards, I can come in and blame
Bad,
myself
yeah.
instead of
Everybody
pointing that
else
finger at a crew chief and saying it's your fault.
Everybody else blames you too then.
Yeah, I
So-
don't mind.
Mikey Summers went down and helped you
Yeah.
there, didn't he? So he's the crew chief for Chris Andrews normally, and was yours a couple years ago in the Burmeister 16 car.
Yeah, me and Mikey work really well together. You know, when he just said he was free to go down with me, I was pretty happy. It was like we picked right back up where we left off 3 years ago. You know, he was making changes to the car that I was already going to tell him to do. So.
But then you didn't trust him on the feature night on Saturday.
Well, no, you know, everyone the track was completely different down there on Saturday than it was on, you know, it took rubber, it was slick and took rubber Thursday, slick took rubber Friday, and then Saturday, you know, it was real wet, and then being as we were locked in the show on Saturday, we didn't have to run, you know, heat races or anything, and our hot lap session for the locked in cars was not long before our A-main. So they had already run all the heats and Bs and everything, and we went out, and the track was starting to blow off a little bit, and Thursday and Friday was only 25 lap features, where Saturday was a 40 lapper. So in my general experience in a race car, you know, we went out and for our hot lap session late in the night, and it was pretty slick. It wasn't pretty slick. It was just starting to blow off a little bit. So I thought, you know, I tighten my car up more than I had all week. And everyone kept saying you need to pay attention when the tide comes in down there at East Bay, because
East Bay is one of
the
those
track
deals.
does
It does.
the complete opposite of what you would think. And I
Did you race down there
listen.
before?
No, I'd never been there.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the first time I'd ever been there, so I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
But you know, it just stinks because we had a really good Thursday and Friday down there,
Really
and
good.
then, you know, to start on the outside front row for the main race down there and miss the setup, you know, it was kind of frustrating. But in a sense, it's good too, because we were, you know, there was only a handful of cars that made the show all 3 nights, and to be locked in, you know, and have pretty much top 10 runs, you know,
And to go to
every
Florida
night.
in a new deal and run that well, that's a big thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
new deal on a track that I'd never been to. So.
And Florida's a tough place. You go down there, and even for the 360 stuff, it's a tough deal.
A lot of the same guys.
Yeah.
A lot of good
Yeah.
drivers that was in that
We
360
went down
deal.
there last year. We didn't get to go down this year, but a lot of good cars there. And like you said, I heard that Tide story years ago, and I just thought it was the nuttiest thing I had ever heard.
Me too.
It's
I thought
so
there's
true,
I
isn't
thought
it?
there's no way when a track starts getting slick that it's gonna come back, and it literally, the track
You
got
can
better as while we were out there racing, the track got better as the race went on.
It's crazy. I heard someone tell that years ago, and I just thought, that's so
It was actually like the first 3 laps of the feature. I remember I even pulled my wing back a little bit. I was starting to get a little free, and so I started pulling my wing back a little bit, and we had a long green flag run. And the longer we went, the more I noticed the more tear-offs I was pulling. And then you know, and I'm getting tight. You know, car's getting tight, and I was going backwards. And you know, we had a caution late there, and I rolled the wing back forward, and I was just blowing through tear-offs towards the end of that race.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
crazy.
just insane how much the track changed from the beginning of the feature to the end of the feature,
Yeah.
in the complete opposite way that it's supposed to.
Yep.
Had Mikey been down there? Do you know?
He did back in the 90s. They went down there with Scott Miller.
Okay. You know, he was going back to the Tiffin Mall Show thing for a minute. He, the Hoserville gave him the Sportsman of the Year this year. He had a plaque. He couldn't go down and give it to him on Saturday night, I think.
To Mikey?
To Mike Summers, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
He got a
that.
real nice plaque. He was heading out with on Friday night because
That's nice.
Mike is one of the guys in the pits that will help anybody, anytime.
Yeah.
He's saved my life tightening bolts in the push-off lane before a couple times in my career. So
Yeah, he's done stuff for me too. Even, you know, when I left the 16 car and was in the 24, if I was sitting in staging and needed something, he was right there to, you know, help me out. Or we got a flat one night at, you know, at Attica in the 24 car, and even, you know, when I didn't lead the 16 car, me and Mike have still been really close friends. He comes over sometimes on the weekends, and if I, you know, get to race on Dirt Vision, or, you know, our kids play together, and, you know, we're still really good friends.
he was wrenching on Stuart Brubaker's car at Atomic on
And
Saturday night.
they almost won that race down there.
Yeah.
So
Apparently the other guys got to the rubber first
Yeah.
down there in the car.
Yeah.
You mentioned your kids. your kid, you have little Braxton,
Yeah.
who is a little Brian Sabito,
Yeah.
for sure.
I feel bad for my parents if I was that annoying when I was.
He is so
he's-
not annoying.
He never shuts up.
He talks
The
a
kid
lot.
talks a million miles
Oh
an
my
hour,
gosh,
and he talks about you all the time.
That is a funny story. Brian's dad, Dick, told me that one day they were sitting at lunch or something, and Braxton said to him that he was going to change his name to Brian Smith.
Yep.
And he sent me a text. I thought that was the funniest thing. But last year at the Tiffin Mall show, my youngest daughter, Camille, who we saw earlier today, she was in love with Brian Sabito because I edited all the fast videos that we put up on YouTube, and Brian won every week. So all they heard, another reason my wife hated Brian Sabito because all she heard was the name. But Camille loved Brian Sabito. She was going to marry Brian Sabito. So at the Tiffin Mall show, I think it was last year, she said to Braxton that I'm going to marry your dad and you can come live with us.
Oh no.
That's the funniest thing, just out of the blue. She's 3 years old, and I don't know where she comes up with that stuff, but she's kind of drifted away now because she
Yeah.
hasn't heard your name
Yeah,
quite as often.
She's a
Yeah,
front
after
runner.
last year,
Yeah, it was a
here,
little-
yeah,
little
must have been
rougher
hearing
year.
somebody else's name after last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Braxton he had a made-up race car driver's name, and he called him John Jacobs, and I think he combined John Ivy and Dean Jacobs for a long time, and now lately, for probably the last 6 months, it's Brian Smith.
That
You
cracks
know,
me up.
he
He's
gets his
been
cars going
awesome.
around and
Just-
Brian Smith.
Yeah, that's
You know.
good. I'm winning somewhere. I think I'm
The
winning.
kid is just, I adore him. I love when he comes over. He's so not annoying. I don't know. Every time he leaves, Lindsay and I will go, how did Sabito get such a great kid? The kid is awesome.
See? He's quite a dancer, too.
He
We
dances and
dancing and
sings.
He gets that
singing.
from me.
He does.
Is he?
Well, not the
He's
singing part, the
multi-talented.
the dancing part.
I've heard about some of your dancing before. I don't know. That's not G-rated. Some of
No,
that.
no questions or
I don't know.
about that.
Now, do you have him in a go-kart? Yeah, how old is he? He's 3, isn't he?
He will be 4 in July. I actually took him to his first go-kart race. I raced for Matt Westfall 2 or 3 weeks ago down at Columbus.
Okay.
Matt builds go-kart chassis, and I drove his house cart, I guess you would call it, down at Columbus, and it was my weekend with Braxton, so I thought, it'd be fun taking him to his first go-kart race, and he was freaking,
Did he love it?
oh man, yeah. He wants one.
Yeah, does he?
So he's gonna.
I
yeah.
wonder because he had a hard time conquering the snow sled early on in,
Well,
in the winter.
he's a sissy sometimes. He's a little bit of a sissy sometimes. He gets babied by women
Yeah.
like you that baby him.
He's got that.
He knows how to butter up
just
to women.
wants-
Oh, he's not? No.
love
Yeah.
it.
He knows how to get what he wants.
Yeah, I picked that up right away from him.
Yeah, he said he wants a go-kart, but he doesn't want to go fast yet. So,
He'll get
I
it.
don't know. At least he wants one, so I guess
Yeah.
I'll here probably maybe over the summer sometime I'll get something put together for him and see if I can
Let him buzz
at least
around.
putt around the yard or take him out to
I don't
Casa
see.
Box and
I don't see a Sabito kid putting around in the yard
Well,
at all. You
just-
better put a pedal or a block underneath that pedal so it doesn't go all the way down.
We have a big yard, and Braxton's
Yeah.
I always try to get a chance at Braxton. So we have a big yard,
bring him over and let him
and it looks
crash
like
into your
it looks
trees.
like
and-
someone's been. We don't have any left.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Storm got rid of all of them. So
So you got a new gig with the Buckeye Machine deal.
Yep.
And what do you? You're also working at Buckeye Machine. So what are you doing there at Buckeye Machine? What do you do for a living?
I'm a sales rep now, so it's completely out of my element.
You weren't you a
pipe fitter.
A pipe fitter for a long time, right?
Yeah, I was in the pipe trades for about 7 years. Before that, I was in electrical trade. I've been in the construction trade for a long time, so it's a little out of my element. I've never, and before that, I worked at Kistler's for 3 years, out there tearing motors apart.
Oh yeah, I remember
So
that.
yeah, and that was back in my early sprint car days when I first got started. But so I've never had a job where I've gone to work and not had to get dirty or something physical.
Yeah,
so,
well, you're all dressed up now.
Yeah, so it's a little bit it's a change, but
a good change.
yeah, I'm getting it. I'm not out beating myself up hanging pipe every day and
Fancy
Cool.
company car parked out in front. Buckeye
Seen
Machine
it.
on the bumper. I
got
saw
Buckeye
that.
Machine company car and.
That's a good deal.
So I don't have to pay for gas anymore or nothing like that. So it's
That's a
nice.
plus.
They sponsored your trip up here to the Last Lap Live, did they?
Oh, you weren't supposed to tell. I
Oh.
hope Ray's not watching. No.
I hope Ray is watching. I hope they're all watching. I hope we got. a lot
I
of
came
people
straight
watching.
here from the shop, so I didn't have time to stop at home.
Oh, okay. It was on the way
But-
home. Now you're
yeah.
still living in Fremont then?
Yeah.
So you're driving down to.
Drive down to Forest every day.
Forest every day.
It's
Yikes.
it's a drive every day. I can do it in an hour from my house
Ugh.
if I'm doing between 60 and 65 down Route 53, and I'm 75 down Route 30. So
If he only does that.
Yeah.
But what do you do when you're in a hurry? I mean, you're a professional race car driver, so.
I usually get up. I
Get
usually
there
get
in
to
time.
work about 25 minutes early every day. I leave extra early in the mornings just because
You never know when it's.
never know what you're
going
gonna run into on 53. It's taken me the one day. It took me almost 2 hours to get there one day. You get stuck behind people on 53 and you can't pass.
53 is horrible.
Any
So-
plans of moving down that way?
No, I like living around here. I'm my family. I'm close to my son, so his mom lives 10 minutes down, not even 10 minutes down the road from me, so it's real convenient. When I got to pick him up or do stuff with like that, and just my family, my friends, everybody's here. I bought a house out on the house I grew up in.
Oh, really?
Out on 128. You probably delivered fuel out there back when I first was racing sprint cars. I'm
Probably.
sure. I remember you had the little purple Ranger.
Yeah,
fuel
the
around.
purple pumper they called it. Yeah.
In fact, I know you did. I remember you delivering fuel to me out there when I first started racing 305s. But yeah, I live out there, so I like
Huh.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm thinking I know where it is. Is there a cemetery?
Yeah,
across
right
the street?
across the street from
Okay.
the cemetery.
Yeah, I know where you live now. You used to live by me. Not too far away, right?
Yeah,
a couple
right
blocks
down,
away.
Yeah, right down the road there. Me and Ryan Lowe actually lived there.
Oh yeah.
And
Whatever happened to Ryan Lowe? You ever talk to him?
I haven't seen or talked to him in years.
We'll have to find that out. Somebody out there's got to know.
Yeah.
Somebody email us and let us know what happened to Ryan Lowe. He was a go-kart racer and then raced
Smart car racer, and
Earl Lowe's grandson.
Yep.
Ran the Purple
I don't know
66.
I don't know what happened to Ryan. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
So you got how many brothers and sisters?
A lot.
A lot.
I have 4 brothers, 3 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And a whole fleet of nieces and nephews.
Are you the baby?
I'm the youngest boy.
Youngest boy.
I have 4 older brothers, an older sister, and 2 younger sisters.
And one of your brothers raced a truck for a while, correct?
Yep, Jimmy.
Jimmy?
Yeah,
Was,
he had probably the worst racing luck of anybody I've ever met.
Oh yeah.
It was, if it wasn't one thing, it was another.
Did you guys race together in the trucks at any time, or?
I don't think we raced together in the trucks. He ran a 305 for a very short time, and I want to say it was maybe 3 races. And it was the year 08. It was the beginning of 08 because I had started building my own car. Farmer helped me out, and we put our own car together. And Jimmy drove for Cody Renfro, put a car together. And I don't know that we actually were ever on the track at the same time together, but we were at the racetrack at the same time for just maybe 3 or 5 races, something like that. But no, I've never gotten to race against him. He got burnt real bad in the truck one time over there at Fremont.
Okay.
He got burnt real bad. Got him out of it for a while. His wife pretty much put her foot down after
Funny
that
how that
happened.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Brian and I were talking earlier about this Legends race. Both of us were excited about that.
I can't wait.
Me too.
With,
I almost had thought about not even racing that night, just coming just to watch.
Yeah.
Because
Be
I'm
a
so
spectator.
freaking I am so
It's gonna be
excited
cool.
about that race.
And you haven't even heard the whole list, have you?
I
You
know
know a couple more
I
than
know
I
a lot more people that's supposed to be doing this deal than what has been announced. Not a
Yeah.
lot more people, but a few people that haven't been announced yet, which I'm
We've
I'm
been
not gonna
trying
say
to
out.
do just 3 at
Yeah.
a time. Just
There's a few that haven't been announced that I'm very
Super
excited
cool.
to see
me too.
in a race car that I've never. There's a lot of guys. Well, there's a lot of guys in this deal that I've personally never witnessed.
I think
You
there's
know.
going to be a lot of us racers now that are going to be standing there on the edge of the racetrack, you know, at the edge
My
of the
guys
races
are going to be
watching.
mad at me that night because I'm not going to be doing much on the race
Yeah.
car. I'm going to be standing up
Because
watching the
it's
races.
not an exhibition or did you
Right.
hear Jerry Niemeyer talk the other night about how they tell you tonight we're going to let you win? It's not one of those deals. It's
Mhm.
a full-fledged.
This is not a vintage race
No.
at all.
No, it's a full-fledged go out and do what
And-
you got to
and
do.
There's
to make
guys
it
that are
happen.
gonna, this. I don't know who you guys have announced yet or not, so I'm not gonna say anybody.
We
Well,
haven't
I-
But
announced.
I mean, there's some guys that I talked to you about who I would put my money on. There's 2 guys I think that are gonna be the ones to beat.
I'll tell you what. I'll give our 3 right now. Our last break is going to be pretty short because we're a little over here. But the 3 we're going to announce tonight is Bobby Distel, Kelly Kinzer, who I think would be one of Brian's picks and one of my picks. The bottom's going to be covered. I think Kelly Kinzer will be down there.
Yeah.
And Clay Kime, who won a bunch of
bottom will
races.
be covered with him too, because he was always
exactly.
running around the
I'll
bottom.
be fighting for the bottom.
That was my favorite race. He was Braxton's Brian Smith was my Clay Kime when I was a kid. I loved Clay when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's funny. He started racing go-karts at my dad's go-kart track, Skull Hollow Speedway, way back in the day. I got a cool video of him.
He probably had a sweet mullet back then too, didn't he?
He had a pretty good haircut.
Yeah, sweet mullet.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I was jealous of that mullet. I wish I could grow hair. I'd love a mullet.
Rick Ferkel, Mark Keegan, Kenny Clark, Jim Linder, George Dussel, and Jerry Niemeyer were the other ones we've announced so far. So don't.
What were they?
There's our list. Distel, Kinzer, Kime, Ferkel, Keegan, Kenny Clark, Jim Linder, and George Dussel.
A couple of the guys that I would put money on. It hasn't been announced yet, so I won't say anything. So.
There's some really good upcoming ones.
Saving the best for last.
Well, not that.
Yeah, probably not the best for last. The whole list.
They are.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mark is going to be.
That's what everybody's talking about. So I hope Mark's watching.
He's going to be tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
There's a couple other ones too from down.
Yeah,
that
and
that.
If it wasn't Mark, I told you if it was Mark or this other one, or the ones that I would.
This one?
Who I'd put money on. Yeah, that one.
It's gonna be good stuff.
I'm excited for that one.
Or the other one from that area.
Yeah.
Well, that might give it away right there. There's a certain area, that race car drivers.
Well, there's all sorts of areas in Ohio.
There is. There's a certain area.
In Indiana and PA and all over the place. So.
Right, that's true. I think what we're gonna do here is I got one more thing I wanted to show. We're gonna go ahead and end the show with you, Brian.
I have a question for you too.
Go ahead. If you got a question,
you want to
this
pick
here.
one of those?
Not really.
Oh, sure. They're all, like Brian calls them G-rated. They're all.
Yeah, they're all right. Let's do that, and then we got are having a ball with Art we got to do yet.
Let's see here.
That was my other fit. That's one of the reasons I was number 01. Was Art Ball was one of my other.
Oh yeah.
He was like my hero when I was growing up. That was one of the reasons I was 01 when I had my own cars.
Well, there you go.
This comes from Carl Keeter, and he wants to know: this is a tough question here.
Carl who?
Keeter.
Keeter. Okay.
Keiter. He says, do you think you will have a good enough car to get another championship title this year? Of course, you're going to say yes to that. And have you ever thought about going into NASCAR, anything bigger than dirt track racing?
I definitely think Ray Marshall has the tools for a championship team. No doubt in my mind. Yeah. He's got just as good as equipment as anything else I've ever been in that I've won the other 2 championships in. So.
And you certainly know your way around.
Yeah, I've ran, both of these tracks, since I started racing.
But you're not going to run just did I hear you say you're not going to run the Fremont Attica stuff every weekend? Or?
No, I'm going to run the fast deal only for points. That's the only points I'm running this year. Ray pretty much left us open to do what we want. So I'm going to run outside of the 18 races with the fast. Obviously, I'll run all the All-Star and Outlaw shows at both Fremont and Attica. But other than that, I know we're going to run Ray Buckeye Machine as the title sponsor of the Boss Series this year. So I'll run both Boss races at Fremont, the 5,000 to win in May, and then in October I think there's one. Mm-hmm. But we're going to do a little bit of non-wing racing too this year. So I'll do maybe some Waynesfield, maybe go over to Indiana and run some non-wing stuff.
That gives me a good reason to go to Waynesfield. I like Waynesfield.
I wish they'd run more 410 wing races.
So nice.
If you thought Brian Sabito was exciting in a winged 410 car, he's really exciting in a non-wing 410 car. Or a non-wing 305 car, just a non-wing car in
I
general.
said that to Rick earlier when I said Kyle Larson and Chris Bell put race cars places that I don't often think they should be.
He puts them there on one wheel.
He does.
Sometimes.
There's times where I can see myself, like I'll be going up to the tower, out to the pit booth, and Brian will be on the track, and I'll stop and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even watch him." But he does it. He does. He pulls it off.
But yeah, and, Rays, we got 410s and 360s, wing, non-wing. So, my teammate Derek Hastings, he runs with non-wing full time. Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna do 360, 410, wing, non-wing, kind of just whatever we want.
Sounds like a fun summer.
Do some Eldora stuff. You gonna
Yeah.
try and run things like the Royal and the.
Yep, we'll for sure be at the King's Royal, the 4 Crown weekend. I'll probably run the Outlaw race Friday and then the non-wing race on Saturday. And then the, what is that called, the blue collar thing
Yeah,
or whatever that is? Is
yeah.
that what the All-Stars, 360s and non-wings?
Yeah, I think at the end of the year.
If I can talk them into it, I'll run all 3 if
Yeah.
they'll let me.
That'd be
but,
good.
I'd like to, but I've never ran a non-wing card outdoor. I've always wanted to. So that's one of my one thing that's been on my bucket list to do is
You know,
a non-wing card outdoor.
I wanted to do that too, and I've gone okay in non-wing stuff, and I got an opportunity to run. Well, actually, you were supposed to do it. I ran Chad Wilson's
Oh yep.
car at the Silver Crown, or at the 4 Crown. They asked Brian to do it, and he couldn't do it for whatever reason, so I got a chance to do it, and I was the most excited I've ever been in my life. I went down there, and it was so bad. I was so bad at it that I almost quit and rode home with somebody else. I felt so bad for those guys. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I wasn't comfortable in their car or whatever. It might have had something to do with it. But that was the most defeated I've ever felt in my whole entire life, going down there and doing that. I thought,
I could too. You never know. I mean, I could go down
Well, I
there and
don't-
just be completely awful, or
I don't
you
think
know,
that's going to be the
well,
case, but
anything. You never know. But
it is definitely different. I thought I was going way too fast for me, and Matt Westfall went past me so fast that I almost spun out. So, but like I said, that's just me. But let me do this here quick. This is the having a ball with art. We definitely want to do this. A couple of your buddies have done a good job at this.
Have you
so
seen this yet?
Yeah.
we got these hanging out up there now so that people can see them. So I'm gonna give you a minute. You don't have to take the whole minute. Set that thing up on your head for me.
You know what? I never
And,
answered the second part of your question.
You did not.
No, the NASCAR thing. I'm too old.
You're not old.
I'm too old. You gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
NASCAR's
right.
young man sports.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm completely content with
He doesn't have enough
doing
hair.
what I'm doing.
He doesn't have enough hair.
No, I don't have enough hair for NASCAR.
Past that.
I'm gonna rub what little bit of hair I got on my head off.
Yeah, right there. Go ahead
See if I can
and
do
draw
that.
us that
He didn't even give
33M
you the
card.
option of declining this.
No, you didn't get the option to decline. But make sure you put the 33M on the wing.
So while Brian's doing that, I want to remind everybody to come out to the rec on Sunday. Brian Sabita will not be playing basketball, but he will
Nope.
be there to support us. Noon to 4.
Right.
Brian Smith will be playing, and
Don't come just to see that. There are some basketball players that are coming, so there will be some good basketball, I think.
I think so. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
How you doing there, Brian? You get it figured out?
Kind of.
He's not sure.
Here you go.
I think he took this a little different direction. Do me a favor and put me on this camera right here, if you would,
kinda
Steven. This is I never thought it would advance to this here, but in case you can't read that, that says Dussel is overrated. So it's not exactly a race car. We will definitely have you autograph that. Steve, if you do one thing for me, there was a lot of legends out at the Tiffin Mall show, and we took a picture of
That
it.
was a
So
good
do me a favor, put that picture up for me there. It says selfie. Took this picture of all these great race car drivers, and then there's these two guys here. Michael Linder and I wanted to be a part of this this group with Rick Ferkel and David Harrison and Joe Keegan
So
and
you
Jim Linder.
photobombed them.
So, well, we took a selfie and we put them guys in the background there, so we got a kick out of that. Mike is a legend. He's got a couple championships at Fremont, and he kind of talks down about himself a little bit, but he was a fantastic race car driver and won a lot of races. But him and I
I
are a
can't
lot
say
alike.
was. He's still racing.
He's old and fat and retired. So, but him and I
Semi-retired.
are huge fans of racing too, not just race car drivers. So we really enjoyed hanging out there with them guys there. But I wanted to make sure we got that up. So thanks for this, Brian. Thanks for coming on. Congratulations on the new deal.
Thank you.
I wish you luck. I'm glad you're not going to run for points at Fremont every week because that's a spot for me. So thanks for that. Thanks to Ray Marshall for that. Thanks for coming on. Tell Braxton that we said hello.
Get that
I
kid a
will.
go-kart.
And get that kid a go-kart.
Maybe I'll have him come on here and do an interview because
That-
you would not be able to get him off here. He will talk.
I
your ear
tried.
off.
I couldn't get.
It was too late. She texted me last night and I texted her back and then she didn't get it and then she texted me today and I
Giving
didn't
him
get
a hard
it. so-
time. I thought maybe he got this new gig going on and he didn't. Brian usually texts me right back. He's one of my go-to guys here in town. Brian steps up.
I think
I
the
blow this
basketball
horn
thing
all
is the
time.
first thing I've never
The
done.
very first thing.
And it's the only
And I
thing.
literally had your name written down before I even asked you because that's how good he is with any anything that I do, Brian is. I don't care what he's done the night before or the week before. He's there. If he
Come on
tells
for
me.
a sub, just in case I need a breather. You can play for me.
The last time I played basketball, I broke my ankle.
Well, BS
So
is
I
BS.
said
We'll
no
fit
more.
together.
I will not play basketball.
So we got him and
You and Chris
I'll be
Andrews
there.
as our cheerleaders.
I'll be there.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
you
we're
and-
gonna be cheerleaders.
you
Yeah, you
want
and
it.
Chris Andrews show
I
up.
wanted to be a ref.
I still have an opening for that, but you gotta play fair, and I'm thinking they're gonna.
Well,
they're
the
gonna
thing is,
think
I
you're
don't know
cheating.
much about basketball.
That could
so
be good. That could actually be good.
I really don't know much about basketball. So, and my Mexican roommates, I really don't want them to win. So, and
They
they
were
keep
heckling
they
me
keep
on State
talking and
Street
talking
today.
and running their mouths about how they're gonna win and this and that. And I said, no. If I'm a ref, you guys will not win. I
Oh,
don't
hey.
care
They
how
won.
good you are.
Chris Andrews, pay him to be the referee in our team's game since you're our sponsor.
Real quick, like
Make sure he's the
his
ref.
roommates have won or been a part of the team that has won every single event, including beer pong.
Mhm.
I know that's surprising, but every event that I've put on, that team has.
You've been on those teams too. The
No,
two
I
kickball
don't.
Teams, right?
I try not to associate myself on teams with Mexicans.
Oh, okay.
I let them live with
All right,
me because
for-
they mow my lawn.
Before this gets out of hand, we're going to go ahead and thank everybody for watching. This is our longest show yet. Here, we had a good time talking today. So, to my wife, I'll be home shortly, and I want to thank Steven, Rich Farmer, Shelly Lisky, all our guests tonight for coming on. And come back next week. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Last Lap. Look it up. It'll be there. 7 o'clock next Tuesday
Next
night.
Tuesday night.
Not 6:30.
Not 6:30. He
No.
texts me. I'm here. No one's here.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.